JaniSha Show. Does it sound like I'm saying Jenny?
Johnny. Oh,
Janny.
Johnny.
Johnny. The JaniSha Show.
A-E-I-O-U.
Janny.
Janny. Yep.
JaniSha Show.
JaniSha Show.
The JaniSha Show.
Okay. I like that.
All right.
To the JaniSha Show.
To the JaniSha Show.
Merry Christmas.
And Happy New Year.
Oh yes, this is a Happy New Year. That's one of the reasons we wanted to start this is the amount of love, joy, and happiness that we continually build upon every day.
Yep.
Since we've been talking about getting this started, I've really gone back over, it's been almost 2 years?
Since when I met you?
Yeah, in February, right? 2 years in February?
Yeah.
So, that just everything that has happened over these short amount of time is spectacular. And when we were talking about this, I'm like, of course this makes sense of how you and I communicate is so
magical
and unique.
Yes.
Like, and it's really fun to watch being in a big group and people being very aware of how you and I communicate, and they're like, wait a second, I'm missing out on things, and I'm like,
Okay, no, one of my favorite things when I first met you was how you communicate with other people to allow them to have the most expansive shift by how open they allow themselves to be.
Yes.
So, what I've loved about communicating with Shar, because we've had conversations like this, how many times? Like thousands, maybe more than thousands. And I shift quickly, and it's basically, we wanted to share our conversations, and the questions that I usually come up with or have are because of
Jenny is absolutely amazing with her questions, because when you ask a question, you always get an answer. And I have received huge amount of joy in watching Jenny go, aha! And then this flood of information just flows through her.
That's what it is. Shar helps you unlock all of the information that is around us in general as the universe, and it's almost like she brings it and sits it over your head. And then when you start having the conversation, she asks questions, but she also says things that kind of spark my brain, all the lights in my brain to shift and turn. And so those are my favorite conversations ever to have. Because I think as human beings, we all evolve and we're all shifting. And so the questions that I have are usually because, working out, for instance, I used to be so like gung-ho on I have to eat a certain way, I have to work out a certain way, to look a certain way. And the whole evolution of that has shifted because all of those stem from what the media wants us to look like to be happy or to have people like us or anything like that. And so the conversations that we have help me shift that mindset of thinking that I have to do something specific, eat something specific, to look a specific way, rather than just doing everything through joy, which is like the best thing about Shar is she brings joy and helps you realize that there's joy in everything. So we wanted to share these conversations because we were talking, throughout all the conversations I've always thought, man, if people could just hear what we're saying, just to understand that there's a different way to look at things. There's not a one-size-fits-all, and it's all about choosing what you want and finding the joy in choosing what you want.
And like how much joy and happiness can you live in? And that's definitely what I spark in people. And there's so many people that will say all the time, like, that is impossible. And I'm like, all right.
Impossible if you want it to be impossible.
I know. But that's still not ever going to stop me from checking off my happiness every single day.
Yes.
And it grows. It just keeps growing and growing. And these deep connections are surrounding me every second of my day now, which is extra fun.
Excellent. Yeah, so the conversations that we're going to be having are basically just how Shar and I communicate and the things that we talk about, and we just really wanted to share them because I have found so much everything.
Well, and out of everybody in the whole, on this, well, okay, I do, Jenny knows me. She gets me on such a different level. And so a lot of times people will leave having a lot of questions. And I absolutely love that. And that's a big part of who I have always been. And since I met Jenny, she can really speak what I am. You communicate all the things that I leave out. I've had one friend said, "Oh my gosh, Shar, you talk with too many ... And I went, but then you fill those in. That's how I'm supposed to talk. And so it irritates a lot of people, and I do. I push buttons galore, but those buttons, when they're being pushed, invoke different thoughts and feelings to have profound questions being asked, because every question that is asked, your mind is Google, and it will spin and spin and spin until you get your answer.
Yeah.
And one that is outside of your current box.
Yes, breaking the box. No, that's one of my favorite things that I like to say is triggering people is one of the most loving things that you can do.
Maybe our first topic should be about triggering. One of the things that we want to do is invite your questions, and then you could be the very next person we answer that question. So we'll start off with triggers and why I like triggering people. Even though I try to avoid it, I love it when someone is triggered and I get to see the beauty in that. And so we can share that experience.
Yes. So one of the things that what Shar just mentioned, what we will be doing is if you have a question that you want to ask Shar and have it be a topic that we talk back and forth with, leave it below in the comments. And yes, every week we will pick a question that one of you has left in the comments below, and that will be a topic that we will discuss.
Perfect.
All right.
Thanks.
The JaniSha Show.
JaniSha Show.